I have a very special guest for 7 Minutes of Sunshine this morning. His name is Les Goodman, fellow Lion, Les Goodman. Hi, Les. Good morning.
Good morning, Tom.
Thank you for joining me today. I'm really excited about this. We were and all the technical difficulties this morning were my fault, not yours.
Well, sure they were. Sure they were.
Les is a member of the Lions Club with me. He is a World War II veteran. He was in the Navy in the UK. Came over here to the U.S., started a career, owned a real estate business in Westerville, raised children, and is just has to live up to that name, Goodman.
Yeah, right.
And Les is a young, spry, 95 years old. And I thought it would be great for Les to share kind of what makes him tick and his values and his superpower this morning. And I'm going to turn this over to you. And we put together a little slide. Can you see the slide? I bet you. I'm not sure that you can.
No.
Okay. On the screen here, we have a photograph of Les when he was serving in the Navy. And I'm gonna take that off screen, and I'm going to come off screen as well. So Les, what folks can see right now are you and a slide with these 4 values and the superpower. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? You want me to remind you, or do you remember what they were?
Well, I know what they were. It's family,
Okay.
faith, friendship, and courage.
Well, could you? Yeah. So tell me about why those are your values and why those are important to you.
Well, family, of course, is the most important item in my life. Even though I started off very poorly, my mother died when I was 9, and so I was actually raised by my dad and my sister, who was about 12 years older than me. So and since that time, I have no recollection of my mother. I have photographs of her, and it could have been a photograph of anybody, and they would have said, "This is your mother," and I would have had to believe them. So that's one thing that bothers me about my family. But under those circumstances, even I was raised, and here I am now. What I've developed from here is an extended family, since I was married 3 times and unfortunately lost all 3 to that dreadful cancer disease. But my late wife has a family that is living in Gehenna here, where I live now, and they have taken me over. And, it's just such an incredible impression on my life that these people have just stepped up to the plate. And I've often said to them, I just don't understand why you cling to me so close. And the answer is, well, because you're my dad now, or you're our dad now, and that just floors me. So what I missed in my early childhood, I'm gaining in my real adult life. As far as my faith is concerned, well, I grew up in England, where most everybody is a member of the Church of England. I mean, heaven forbid that you try to be somebody else, because you get drowned with all this royal empire system that you are kind of brainwashed in a sense. So I even though I did not go to church as such, because my dad, in his early days, he came from a Jewish family, or was raised into a Jewish family, but he married somebody out of that faith, and his family disowned him. So once again, he had 7 siblings who I never saw because they wouldn't have anything to do with him. So my faith was kind of shattered. Uh, my family was kind of shattered, but still seemed to maintain a level keel. I married a girl in England who was a Catholic, which is the extreme end of where I came from. Of course, when she passed away, I was then in America, and I met an American girl who was a member of the Church of Christ, which is about as far away from Catholicism as you can get. And and um, and then when I remarried, my third wife, after unfortunately losing the first and the second, uh, this late wife was back in the Catholic faith, and so I've been around the territory of faith, you might say. Friendship, as far as I'm concerned, is unless somebody really irritates me, I consider them a friend. I just don't have time to bother with people that have all these negative thoughts, and everything they talk about is something that they're complaining. And a long time decided that wasn't the area I wanted to be, but I have developed some incredible friends, of course, in the service. When you're in the service, you either develop some very deep friendships or you go the opposite direction. Unfortunately, I did develop some good friendships. However, when I left England and came to America, I lost touch with some of those that I was able to maintain some contact with after the war. Courage, well, we can all talk about courage. People say to me, well, thank you for your service. Well, I appreciate the fact that they appreciate what we all did, but, whether we were in the war or we were back on the home front, we all played our part in beating the little corporal over there in Nazi Germany. So I'm kind of stuck on this courage thing. I will just express one little thing here. Since I've been in the adult community here for the last 3 years, I've met a lot of elderly people. In fact, that's all we have here. And one of them just died about 6 months ago, and I first met him at a meet and greet before we came into the system here. And I asked him, I saw on his hat that he was a veteran. I asked him what he did, and he said, well, he flew in the Super Fortress over Europe from England. And he said, what do you do? And so I told him, and he said, yeah, but you were at D-Day. I said, hey, yeah, I was at D-Day, but as far as I'm concerned, every time you got into the plane to fly a mission, that was your D-Day.
Wow.
And I often think he had 37 missions over Europe. And that's an incredible statistic, because the average life of an airman during the height of the war was about 7 to 10 days.
Oh my gosh.
He told me that when he first went to join the airfield after they shipped him to England, and they showed him where he was going to sleep, and he said, well, there's nobody else in this hut, is there? And he said, no, they're all gone.
Wow.
So, once again, I, I don't, and of course, in England when I was a boy growing up, and I used to see the Spitfires flying and in the dogfights with the Messerschmitts, and they say they saved the day in the Battle of Britain. Well, they helped. A lot of things helped. People helped that were over working in munition factories. That's just everybody does their part. Uh,
Wow, Les,
once,
so you say your superpower is helping. Help me understand that.
well, I'm not sure if I know how to explain that. So, Tom, uh, I don't because you know my power is through my faith,
Mm,
and I, I'm I believe I was sent here for some reason or another.
mhm.
Maybe not directly, but you know, I, I often think of the old Yogi Berra message when he said, "You come to a fork in the road, take it." People usually and do still laugh at that, but to me, that meant you have to make a decision, and not everybody can make a decision. So how did I make the decision to leave a career in the police force in England and come to a country that I've never visited before? Um, there's something that told me to come here, and then something that told me to stay after my first wife died after we were here for less than 3 years. So, I think I know what it is. I'd like to think I know what it is. My faith is that I believe in it, and I'm not afraid to go and join.
Excellent. Les, so you started the early part of your years helping to save the world from that crazy man Hitler, and here
Yeah.
you are in the U.S. And you told me right now, what is this time like for you with this coronavirus? Tell me what it's like for you right now.
Well, it's like being on a ship. You're confined below decks for many, many months sometimes, or you come up on deck, but depending on what kind of ship you're on, the ship I was on, you came up on deck, but there wasn't much deck space. So you spend a lot of time below ground, so to speak. Now, that's what I'm doing here, and a lot of us are doing. We're confined, we're in quarantine, they call it whatever they want. They just stopped us from doing what we normally do, and I'm of the opinion that we will never get back to the old normal. But maybe once again, my faith kicks in and says maybe that wasn't a right normal.
I love it.
You
I
know,
love it.
and so
I
you
love
know,
that.
yeah, there we go.
Les, you've lost a couple friends to the coronavirus. Yes.
Last one just 2 weeks ago. The three guys that we called us the Three Musketeers. We used to play golf together. We played golf together for years, and then when we couldn't play anymore because of our age and whatever, I would meet every Thursday and go for lunch. And we used to go to Panera Bread. There's a commercial for Panera Bread. I ought to get paid for that. And one of them was a Navy veteran. Was on in the Pacific on a carrier. Was on the USS Independence. It was in the Battle of Midway, and the other guy was in the Army. Was in the artillery. But the guy in the Navy, I lost him just last week. He had the virus. His wife, who I talked to yesterday on the phone, said she has no idea how he got it. Uh, they can't remember anybody coming to the house and sitting on his lap, like a grandson or somebody. This guy was as old as me within a month, and he got he got a little temperature and called his doctor, and the doctor, everybody's paranoid about this. Told him to go to the ER, and when he got to the ER, they checked his oxygen level, and they thought it was a little bit low, so they admitted him and put him in a room. And his daughter, who took him there, went to go in, and they shut the door in her face.
Oh,
And they told her she had to leave the hospital, and she never saw him again.
I'm sorry. That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it lasted a week, and it's just it's hard. It's really hard. But hey, there's a better place to go to. If there isn't, we've wasted a lot of time praying. I'll tell you that.
Well, the trick is to make this place as good as we can. And
Yep.
I know, Les, I went way past 7 minutes with you today. But I could talk to you for hours, and I have talked to you for hours, frankly. And I really appreciate all the stories you've shared with me about serving in the military, about Columbus through the years, about coaching soccer and starting soccer leagues, and about your days with the Lions here. And you are a big helper, and you've helped a lot of folks. And I just want to thank you for your service. I really enjoy everything that you've shared with me. I'm very lucky to get to know you. You're a great man. You're a great man, Les Goodman, and I really appreciate our time. And I'm really glad you got to share a little bit with my small little sunshine audience. So thank you for that.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, Tom. Pleasure. Always.
All right, my friend. Keep the faith. We're going to get through the other side of this. And I really like what you said about maybe the normal wasn't so great, and we got to work on that a little bit. So why not, right?
That's right. So all these things are sent to try us.
Well, let's do it together, my friend. All right.
Okay.
Let's do it together. All right. You have a great day, and remember, even when it's really cloudy out, the sun is always shining, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.